Hello and welcome to a new vlog. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time writing instructor and a part-time content creator and indie author. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It is great to have you all here today. It is Saturday and it's Saturday afternoon. It's 12:37 in the afternoon and I am only just getting out here to my kitchen. So I need to make some coffee. I need to get the Tour de France going. They're in the Alps. They hit the Alps yesterday, so it's another Alps stage today. I love when they're in the French Alps. It just, because the race is so much fun to watch, but then the views and the scenery is so incredible. I'm excited for that today. So it's gonna be a lazy day lounging on the couch, but I am going to try to do some book work, whereas tomorrow I think is going to be just a complete rest day for me. So I figured today would be the better day to vlog. I want to do some reading in Across the Pond. So I have finished my reread of the first two books and I'm now on the third book and I'm about 7 chapters into that. So I really want to try to finish that by the end of day tomorrow. So I'm going to try to do like a couple hours of reading on the couch today and then some reading. Actually, would that finish it? No, I think I've got like 3.5 hours left. So yeah, somewhere between this afternoon and this evening, I want to do like 2 hours of reading in it today and then finish it tomorrow. Because as weird as this experience of rereading my own books that are already published has been, yeah, it's been a very weird experience rereading these books, but it's also been very nice. And I'm already noticing in the first few chapters of the third book how different that one is from the second and how different it is from the first. Like each one, I can really see how I've evolved and grown as a writer. So weird experience, but also interesting experience. So because of that, and also because I know it's going to help me with editing book 4 and outlining and writing book 5, like it just is turning out to be really useful, I want to reread the 2 Independent Hearts books because I think that will help me with editing book 3 and might help generate some ideas for book 4 that I can start jotting down in a notebook, because I'm not looking at Independent Hearts 4 yet. But yeah, which also, just to interject here, if you're new here, Across the Pond is my London-based contemporary romance and Independent Hearts is my small town cozy romance series. And the first books in both of those are available now on Amazon. Just a little shameless plug. So yeah, I want to do some more reading in Across the Pond, and I also want to do some writing. Did manage to do some writing yesterday. I did not vlog it, so I don't have any vlog footage, no snippets for NaNo, Camp NaNo day 14, but I managed, I think, like 700 words. So at some point today I'll give you my total. I know I'm at like, actually I can do it now, I'm at 9,979 words. Like I was 21 words away from 10K for camp, but it was already 11:30. I was writing very late, later than I should have been, and I was like, I'm not writing another 21 words just to hit 10K. So I saved it for the vlog. It won't take me long, but we will hit 10K today in Camp NaNo. So yeah, I do want to do some Camp NaNo writing today, or outlining. I think I'm just gonna lay on the couch for most of the day watching the Tour de France, but I'll also be doing some reading and some writing. So as far as the vlog is concerned, because I'm sure most of you aren't that interested in professional cycling, we will focus the vlog on the cozy reading and writing shots and not the Tour de France in the background, although you'll probably see a bit of that as well. As you might be able to tell if you watched the last vlog, I am doing a lot better than I was in the last vlog, and I have edited that vlog, and I think I edited it, that's saying edited it. Every now and then I do have to say those words in that combination and it always trips me up. I think I have created something in the final edit of that vlog that I feel conveys the stress, the hurricane of tornadoes I was dealing with earlier this week. I think it conveys that without being a complete downer of the video. I really had wanted to vlog on Thursday. Like, I just sometimes have certain days in mind that I know this is the day I want to vlog. And so I knew I wanted to vlog on Thursday, but Tuesday and Wednesday were just so much. And then Thursday I was really still just hanging by a thread. And if you watched the last vlog, you'll know there was just a little hiccup earlier in the day that set me off again. It's fine now. Everything is fine. Yesterday was great. Mom and I went to Whole Foods. I spent most of yesterday just relaxing. I gave myself permission to not focus on work. I got a little bit of stuff done, and then just other stuff didn't get done, and that was fine. So it's the weekend today and tomorrow. If I feel like working, I will work. You know, if I feel like writing or editing or anything like that, or cover sketching or whatever, I'll do those things. If I don't feel like it, I won't. But I do feel good, and I do feel like today I want to try to make some progress on some things, just so that Monday is a little bit calmer and not feeling like, wow, nothing got done last week. But I know I want to rest tomorrow and just do nothing tomorrow if possible. So yeah, so hang out with me today. We will see what we do, but the goal of today is just cozy, relaxing vibes, but make it just a little bit books and writing. So yeah, so get cozy, get comfy, relax with me today, and I'm gonna get the tour going and get some coffee made. Okay, it's 4:30. I don't know where this day is going. I've been really relaxing, but I've also been stressing a little bit about my air conditioning. It is getting so hot today. It's getting so hot. Yeah, it's now 114, which I think when I looked it up was like 45 degrees Celsius, plus or minus, somewhere in there. Been following me for a while. You remember back in 2020, my air conditioning died, and I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it, but I keep trying to remind myself, like, it is hot outside, so it's going to be running more frequently and for a longer duration in the afternoons when it's at its hottest, because it's hot, and I'm south facing, which is my mistake. Rookie error. Never thought I'd live in this apartment for nearly 10 years, so not sure it would have stopped me from moving into this one. But then I'm like, oh, but we knew we liked this complex, but we probably could have just put my name on a list for when a north-facing apartment opened up. I didn't have to move into the first one available. I probably could have waited, because while being south-facing sounds really nice for all the natural light that you get, it means my apartment just roasts all day long during the summer. So yeah, it's not so much fun. I've been doing a lot of reading. I don't think I'm quite halfway through, but because it's getting, I don't think I'm quite halfway through Brave Together yet, but I know I'm making my way through it. But I'm gonna put that to the side for now. I'm still watching the tour. It's an epically long stage, or at least a long broadcast today. Thought it was just because they're in the Alps, but no, there was a really bad crash that just blocked the whole peloton for a while. Like everybody was impacted. And so they actually stopped the race, which I'm sure that's happened, but I've watched several years, like there've been gaps in between, but like I've watched several years worth of the tour and I've never seen it happen. I've never seen them stop and neutralize the race and then restart it from another neutralized start. So that was interesting. But yeah, they calculated once they got everything going again, the commentators calculated that it had been stopped for 27 minutes. So I'm pretty sure that's why it's a longer than usual broadcast. So it's still playing. I just have it muted for the moment. But since it's getting to be 4:30 and it's getting later in the day, I figured I would switch from reading over to writing and get some nano writing done. I don't think I'm gonna do any editing today. I do need to do some planning. I might take my planner over with me, and I might also bring my progress board over with me because I can pop this. This is the other thing I like about this progress board. I can pop it onto my clipboard and then it is a harder surface for me. So I will probably bring this over with me and do some planning. So I'll bring all my pens and stuff. I won't set everything up for next week, but I do need to do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but I think I need to go through and just look at what's gotten done this week, what hasn't, where am I at, and maybe bring, I've got some sticky notes over there, and so maybe write a sticky note of like what to keep in mind for planning tomorrow. So I will bring this over with me and all of my pens. But yeah, I thought I would quickly do a Camp Nano update where we're at. Let's see, Camp Nano. So I told you we're at 9,979. So I'm gonna hit 10K really quick. I'm on a 2-day writing streak at the moment. I've had 2 days where I didn't write. So I think the longest writing streak I've managed, I had a 3-day streak and then didn't write on the 4th of July, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day streak, and then I didn't write on the 12th, and then I wrote on the 13th, and yesterday on the 14th. So yesterday I did 715 words, which I felt really good about. Could have done more, but I was writing later in the evening, so I needed to stop. In the project, I am over 10K, so the manuscript is currently at 10,311. I am being told by Scrivener I need 619 words. It's gonna alter that because it's the weekend, so technically I don't need to write today. So it always gives me a lower word count. Like I think if it was Monday, it would be a little bit higher, but I don't know because I did do a few extra words. So I am gonna write this weekend, at least today, but probably also tomorrow, and try to keep chipping down at that number. I'd love to see it come down below 600. Like even 599 would be psychologically really, really nice. But as far as the manuscript is concerned, I now, chapters 1 through 9 are over 500 words, which is fantastic. And then chapter 24 is over 500 words. So 10 chapters total across the manuscript are over 500 words. And there are a few chapters, including some that I'll work on, or at least one that I'll work on today. Chapter 11 is at 423. So getting that one to 500 words is going to take no time at all. Chapter 10 is at 257. So that one's going to, I'm like halfway to the 500 word, like next phase goal. For those who are new, the goal is to get all of the chapters at least up to 750. But I have set a goal of 1,000 words per chapter, except for the epilogue. That goal is 500. And I don't even know if I'll get up to 500 for the epilogue. That's not as big of a thing for me to worry about. A lot of them are kind of, on average, I feel like I've got around 300 words per chapter. So I'm just gonna work on getting at least a few more chapters. I think if my goal, if I'm aiming for around 600 words today, that would probably mean getting 4 or 5 chapters up to 500 words per chapter. We'll see how far I get today. And then the air conditioning just turned off. I'm trying to like put fans by my front door, and like they're like the fan situation in this apartment right now is ridiculous. But I feel like in the summer it's a constant game of trying to figure out, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Maximal is what my brain wants to say, but I don't think that's the right word. But like prime, maybe we'll say prime position for all of the fans. Like, I've moved my Wuzu fan. It's now below the counter, but it's angled up so that it's pointing air. You can see it right there. It's pointing the air above the breakfast counter, so out into this part of the room, but it's closer to the actual vent, which is right there, and that is the strongest vent. So I just wanted to see if moving it a little bit closer, because there is a vent right there, but this one is much stronger. So I was hoping that putting the Wuzu fan closer to the strong downdraft, because the air coming out of that kitchen vent is like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is coming out cold enough, but yeah, it's driving, we are at that point where the air conditioning is just driving me crazy. So yeah, it's a constant game. I've got another fan here that I'm trying to like keep air flowing around the office area. So between all the fans, there's lots of air circulation going, and these blinds and the blackout curtains are still firmly in effect. Like, it's not radiating heat. Like in the morning when there's direct sun hitting this window, I can have my hand like 6 inches out from the window and feel the heat. Now I have to like touch the window, but like the window is still hot to the touch, and my balcony window is the same way. And these apartments were built in the 90s, and the 90s were when they kind of just shifted to what we call the stick and stucco approach of building. So I don't think they really paid that much attention to insulation, and like they are insulated, but they weren't future-proofing in a way. Like, they weren't thinking about putting like really good windows on. Like, these aren't like very well insulated windows either. I think they're just like single paned. There's nothing to like help prevent heat or like diminish the heat that comes in through the windows. And I think the stucco exterior, it's a light color, so it does reflect a lot of the sun, but it also just cooks and absorbs as much sun as it reflects. And so these apartments do just get really warm in the summer, and there's not much you can do about that. But my noise sensitivity always gets aggravated by my seasonal depression, and so my brain hyperfixates on the air conditioning noise. And I've been like, I'm mindful of the fact that I'm talking about air conditioning and I'm wearing a cardigan. I like being cozy. I am feeling warm here at my desk. I'm sitting directly under my ceiling fan, so then I kind of like having the cardigan on. But yeah, I am probably gonna have to raise the temperature in the apartment a little bit, and I'm not looking forward to that. But I think for at least the next several weeks that it's going to be this hot, it might be better. Because every time the air conditioning comes on, I just see dollar signs popping up in my head. I need to pay my electric bill soon. It wasn't bad for last month, but like I'm already dreading what next month is going to be. So anyway, enough of me talking about the weather and air conditioning and stuff. I'm sure you are tired of that, but I'm gonna go get started on some writing, well, outlining. I'm gonna see how many chapters today. So we're starting on chapter 10, and we'll see how many chapters we can get up to at least 500 words or more, and get them switched from their yellow color code to the green color code. gonna take a break for a second and get up. Trying to make sure I don't sit for too long. So we'll come and stand and chat in the kitchen for a little bit this time. Outlining is going well. I'm a little over 3,000, I wish. I'm a little over 300 words. Not 3,000. It's 5:42, so it is getting later in the afternoon. And this is the issue. This is not the issue or the problem, but this is just the thing. This is just the thing with outlining. It does take longer. It takes longer to get to words because I am creating the idea for things out of my head as opposed to just having those ideas already written down in an outline that I'm then writing from. So writing when I have an outline, or even if I were discovery writing, like if I were just writing, I would get an idea and it would probably take me 100 or 200 or 300 words to fully articulate that idea if I was writing it out fully. But when I'm outlining, I'm just writing fragments of ideas and half ideas, and so it just takes me longer to come up with each of those ideas. And so yeah, outlining takes longer, but I'm enjoying it. I'm still watching the tour. Yeah, you can kind of see it over my shoulder there. So I'm enjoying that. It's not distracting me too much, but I think that's another reason why I'm going a little bit more slowly. But yeah, I'm enjoying outlining. The more I outline and the more I get into this, and like the more I'm coming back to certain scenes, because again, I've got something written down for every chapter at this point. So I know what all, at this point, by the time I get to 250 words per chapter, I kind of know all the main scenes that will happen. And I mean, they can change. Sometimes I'll get an idea for a scene that as I'm writing that I didn't have while I was outlining, and so new scenes pop up. But for the most part, I think these are all the scenes that I'm like starting with. So as I come back to each chapter and work on it a little bit more, there's certain scenes that I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun to write when I get to the writing stage. The excitement for the project is still very much there. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that's been nice. I also noticed, like I've noticed this before, but I don't think I've ever talked about it in a vlog. And one of the things I've noticed about my outlining process is, while I am a die-hard past tense writer when it comes to writing, my POV tends to always be third person past tense. Third person past. I can read in different tenses and I can read different POVs. As far as verb tenses, I am much happier with past than present, and I do tend to prefer third person over first, but I can read first person past fairly easily. Like, it doesn't take long for my brain to like switch over to first person as long as it's still past tense. First person present I really don't like as much. I will still read first person present, and by the like second chapter I really don't notice it. So like I do adjust eventually, but it does take me longer to adjust. I'm just not a present tense fan unless I'm outlining. Because apparently, and I have noticed this in previous books, but I don't think I've mentioned it, I tend to outline in present tense and then I write it in past tense, which I'm like, I've tried changing it. Like, I've tried outlining in past tense, but I always then lapse back into present tense. But it does make for one more thing that I have to pay attention to when I'm writing and editing, that I have switched everything back to past tense. I'm trying to not do that, but it seems to be a habit I can't break. I think for me, the reason why my brain defaults to present tense when I'm outlining is because I'm outlining all the things that I am going to write. So I don't write it in like a future tense. Like I don't say she will do this, she will do that. But because I'm outlining something that is yet to be written, it's not yet in my brain a past thing. So outlining in past tense just feels really weird to me. I don't know why. I do not know why. It just does. So it really is something that I'm trying to be a lot more mindful of, because I don't want it to screw up my verb tenses when I switch to actually writing it. But yeah, it's just a weird thing, a weird quirk about my writing that I've noticed over the last few books. I've started noticing it more consciously, that like I don't outline in the same tense that I write in. Like I always write in past tense, and I always write in third person as well. So like I always write third person past, but I always seem to outline third person present. And it's just funny to me that I really like, it's not that I hate reading present tense. I will read someone's book if it's in present tense. That does not stop me from reading it, but it's not my preference. Like I would probably rank it third person past, first person past, first person present. And I think third person present is just really weird and detached, and I don't know if I could, I don't know anyone who would write in third person present. I know the reasons why people write in first person, and particularly why they write in first person present. It's supposed to make it feel like you as the reader are that character. I don't need that. Like I already feel like the character when I read a book. I don't need the verb tense to do that, and for some reason my brain just prefers past tense, whether it's third person or first person. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. I would love to know, for those of you who outline, do you outline in a different POV or a different tense than what you write in? Like, do you outline first person present but then write third person past? Or do you outline in exactly the same POV and verb tense that you write it? Because I just think that because outlining is a different process, my brain just views it differently, and therefore it thinks it needs to be in a different verb tense. I don't know, but it's interesting and a bit weird. And I thought I'd mention it. But yeah, I think I've been standing for long enough. It's now 5:52, so I need to get back to sitting down. I want to get to at least 600 words before I stop and have dinner. I'm not hungry, so I'm good for at least a little bit longer. But yeah, I want to try to get to 600 words before I stop for dinner, and then I can stop outlining for the day and I can do some more reading while I watch TV or whatever. But also I'm missing, I'm sure, the last few miles. The air conditioning is turned off, so we can come back out into the living room a little bit. But yeah, they're down to, well, they're showing it in kilometers now, 13 kilometers. I don't want to miss this last bit because it is like, it's the two main rivals are really going at it and trying to beat each other, so I don't want to miss this. So I will get the last of this outlining done, finish the tour, and then stop and have some dinner and get on with enjoying a very relaxing Saturday evening. Okay, it is 6:39. It's fine. It's a weekend. It's fine. I'm mindful that I think in the last vlog I talked about how I need to have like a firm 5 o'clock end of day, and that clearly didn't happen. But I was having fun, and I was also half outlining, half watching the tour, so you could kind of say that if I hadn't been watching the tour, I probably would have been done by 5. Anyway, it's fine. I got up to 885 words, which I'm very excited about. So we are now at 10,864 for camp. If I had just been sticking with 484 words a day, I would be at 7,258 today. So I'm a good 3,500 words ahead, something like that. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see. I have no way of predicting where I'm going to end up, because if I keep writing 600 to 800 words a day, then I'll be well over 15K. But I have had a couple days this month so far where I didn't write, and I had one day where I only did 294 words. So if I have some days like those, then it'll be less, but we'll see. So I don't want to like say I'm going to end up at like 20K or 30K, but I mean, I guess that's a possibility. I really am. I think we talked about this in 2 or 3 vlogs ago. It just feels like a different camp this year. And a few of you mentioned in the comments of that video that you were kind of feeling the same way. It does just feel like it's really chill and really relaxed, and I am having a lot more fun because the focus is on having fun and uncovering my story as I'm outlining it, rather than the focus being on trying to get as many words as possible each day, or trying to get up to a really kind of intense word goal. I'm also realizing that having a lower word goal of like 500 words a day, even in Scrivener right now it's telling me 600. It's easy to get to 600, and then I usually end up doing a little bit over 600, but it's still less than 1,000. But because my goal is like 600 something in Scrivener, getting to 885 today, it's less than 1,000, and it didn't take me that long. Like it took me longer than it would have if I wasn't watching the tour at the same time, and if it hadn't been the last, you know, several miles of the tour, because earlier in the stage when there's so much time, I can let it be more in the background, but when it's down to the last few miles of the race, I want to be watching and see if someone launches an attack or something. So yeah, it would have taken me even less time if I hadn't been distracted. But I am learning that having a goal of less than 1,000 words for my writing really does make a huge difference for me. Just massive difference psychologically. It's so much easier to get me to sit down, because even like if my goal is 600, even like on the day that I got to 294 words, that was still half my goal, a little less than half that daily goal. And so it still feels like I did something, like I still got to 50% of my goal. Whereas when the goal is like 1,500 words a day, or like during NaNo in November, 1,660 something words per day, it just feels so daunting. And so then on a day where I don't feel that great, or where it's the weekend, so I just want to see how much I can write. If that's the goal, the goal is still really high, it feels demotivating. If is that an actual word, demotivating? We'll roll with it. You know what I'm trying to say. And it makes me less likely to want to sit down and just write. And I feel like with the goal being so low, especially now that I'm getting close to 15K, like we're halfway through the month and I'm 2/3 of the way to my goal. Like today I only needed 295 words according to the NaNo website. So it just feels like when my goal is so low, it's easy to just sit down and play. That's what it feels like. I just sit down to play at my computer and just see what words come out, and there isn't that pressure. So I'm trying to make a note, at least mentally, of all the things that are making a difference for NaNo And I think as we get close to November, I'll do a video on like how to have a no pressure nano month. I think for November, the biggest thing to have a no pressure nano like is to not try for 50K. I think this is why I like camp better than the main event, because I don't like not being able to set my own goal. Like I can tell you right now, in November, I will be a rebel. I'm not aiming for 50K. Making notes, making mental notes in my brain. But with that, I need to go get my dinner and sit down and just relax and enjoy the rest of the evening. I've got the last bit of like post-race commentary to watch, and then I can find something to watch on YouTube or something and just chill out and relax. Probably do some more reading in Brave Together, both while I watch TV and when I get in bed. And yeah, just relax and enjoy a cozy Saturday. But I'm really happy with how much I've written. I feel really good about this. So 885 words just is really nice, and I'm still loving the story. Like I really want to start writing it. I'm gonna keep outlining it, but I really want to start writing it. Okay, it is 10:30 at night. I am gonna go get in bed, so it's time to wrap up this vlog. I've been watching The Night Manager. I haven't watched it in a while. I feel like I've watched it at least twice, if not 3 times, because I love the cast, and it's a really like good spy espionage kind of story, and it's Tom Hiddleston. Like, you know, what more reason do I need? But it's been a while since I watched it, and I don't know, I couldn't decide on anything else to watch tonight. Nothing new sounded good, but I also wasn't sure that I wanted to start rewatching Downton Abbey for the millionth time. So I thought I'd try rewatching something else. I probably am going to start rewatching Downton Abbey though, because that show always, just whenever my brain is feeling super anxious, that's the show I tend to put on. There's just something comforting about a show that you've seen a million times. So yeah. I was waiting for the air conditioning to turn off so that we could wrap this vlog up at my desk and have a little bit of peace and quiet. But it's not turning off. I mean, it will eventually, but it's not yet. I'm feeling warm even in my sweater now that I'm not under the ceiling fan anymore. I don't know, I feel like my brain, it's moving on from the stress about bugs, but now it's fixating on the heat and the air conditioning. And yeah, it just seems like when the air conditioning is on, time moves very slow. Like I can feel every second of every minute ticking by. So I'm definitely gonna get in bed and put on my Bose headphones, because I just need to silence the noise for a while. I mean, it's still 101 degrees outside. It's 10:30 at night and it's still 101 degrees. The sun has been down for like 3 hours and it's still 101. So it's still quite warm out, which is why my air conditioning is still going and going and going. And yeah, it's driving me nuts. And I keep trying to remind myself, and if I think about it in terms of weeks, it feels a little bit better. We probably only have 10 weeks, 10 or 11, knock on wood, not before it'll get like cool and I can turn the air conditioning off, but it's usually somewhere around end of September, beginning of October. So yeah, 10 or 11 weeks, and then it'll be like 100-ish, 100 to 105 as a high. And so the evenings at least will start to get a little bit cooler again. That will make a difference. That will make a difference. Like, it's just, it is really difficult when it's still 100 degrees and like it's still gonna be upper 90s by midnight, and it's only going down as cool as 86. And so yeah, I'm dreading my next electric bill though. I really am, because this is always the time of year when it gets really, really bad. I'm gonna go put the Bose headphones on and it'll all be okay. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Despite the heat and the air conditioning noise, it has been a relatively cozy, nice, relaxing day. I'm really happy with how much work I got done. I'm not going to finish Brave together tonight. I'm just under 2 hours left in it. So I'll probably read for another 30 minutes tonight, and then that'll leave me about an hour and a half left to finish tomorrow, and I think I can do that tomorrow, so I will finish it tomorrow. So yay, that will be good. And I'll do some more writing tomorrow, so I will try to keep you updated on that, or we'll give you the update. I'll probably vlog again on Monday, so we'll catch up on Camp Nano on Monday. But yeah, I'm really happy with what I got done. I feel really good about 885 words in my outline. That's because outline takes me a little bit longer. It is nice when I get around 800 words or so. The few days I've had, I think I've had 2 days where I've been at 1,000 or more. Actually, I think I've had one day where I was at like 1,000, and then 2 days. There was one day I feel like I had 1,500, and one day that I think I got up to 1,400. Those days were amazing because it really is hard to rack up the words when I'm outlining. It's much easier to hit those kinds of word counts when I'm writing. I'm really happy with the outlining progress that I'm making, and I'm really excited about this story. And rereading the old books is making me even more excited for book 4 and 5, and getting a book 4 edited and then published eventually, and getting a book 5 written. I think that's going to be really fun over the next several months. So yeah, it's been a really nice day. So I hope you've enjoyed sharing it with me. But I'm now going to go get in bed. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate both of those things. Say hi in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Leave me a fan emoji, because I have been complaining about the heat and my air conditioning and the noise that it makes. There isn't an air conditioning emoji, but I've been having all my little fans going, so you can leave me a fan emoji to let me know which one of you lovely people have made it all the way to the end of this vlog. Or you can complain about the weather in the comments where you live. So is it hot? Is it humid? Or is it lovely? Or I know some of you are Southern Hemisphere people, so what's winter like for you? I really need to like get into a life situation where I can just alternate between Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere and always be in autumn or winter. Like I would just chase winter around the globe if I could. But yeah, let's just chat about the weather in the comments, because we all know it's my favorite thing. Honestly, if you could get an Olympic medal in complaining about the heat, I would be a gold medalist. Easily. I'm now gonna go get in bed and do some more reading and finish winding down for the night. And I will see you all very soon in the next vlog. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye!